Theft is on the rise in Lloydminster lately, and the RCMP are reminding residents to lock up your valuables.
What we're seeing is property theft. That includes break-and enters to businesses, to compounds, or even people just checking handles on cars along the side of the street.
No doubt a frustrating trend. The RCMP are reminding folks that they are working to address the issue of theft.
It's something that, is currently the issue or one of the issues that we're facing, and we're just taking the appropriate steps necessary to help people ensure their belongings aren't stolen and trying to help solve and eliminate crime.
There are things you can do to keep your property safe. Taking a few extra minutes to make sure your valuables are locked up can save you tons of trouble in the long run.
The biggest thing for people to take in mind is if it's out of sight, if it's not somewhere visible, it's really difficult for people to know that the item is there for it to be stolen. So don't leave valuables inside of a car.
A Cold Lake woman is offering a significant reward for the return of her 3 family dogs that were allegedly stolen from inside of her home last week. These 3 Great Danes were last seen on September 19th. Owner Janet Edmonds believes the dogs were stolen between 4 and 5 p.m.
They were secure in the house. We have a secure yard, and my husband went next door for a little while and came back, and they were gone.
The fawn female is spayed, weighing about 120 pounds with a gray muzzle. Both males weigh 150 pounds. One is a fawn with a dark muzzle, and the other is a brindle with white markings on his chest.
It's a really scary situation. It's very difficult to hide a Great Dane, so I don't know why anybody would try to take it. They're not really small. They're not pocket size.
Edmonds is offering a $6,500 reward for the return of her beloved pets.
We're willing to pay something for them to get them returned. We want them before any money will ever change hands. So.
Edmonds says there may have been a sighting in the Lac La Biche area. If you have any information on the whereabouts of these dogs, you're asked to call the RCMP. Well, all hands were on deck at the Salvation Army over the weekend as members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints collected food donations ahead of the holiday season. Volunteers spent the day sorting food for those in need. Last year, the Salvation Army helped out 811 people. So far this year, they've already helped nearly 600 people, seeing 2 to 3 faces a week.
When you need it, it's a gift, because the one thing that you want to be able to do is provide for your family, and unfortunately due to circumstances, people being laid off or losing their jobs, and not everybody can do that, and that's what the Salvation Army Food Bank is here for.
And an event like this wouldn't be possible without the help of the volunteers spending their day collecting and organizing.
You look around and you see kids helping, you see adults helping, and so it's a great helping environment, and people are willing to pitch in, and so it's a busy day, but it's a good day, and I know that there will be lots of people that will benefit from everybody helping out.
Over 11,200 pounds of food was collected in the food drive. 20 years ago, Eagle View Lodge in Murnum, Alberta was a first-of-its-kind pilot project incorporating an Alzheimer's wing and a medical center. In this week's edition of Retrospect, Brian Lentz shows us how the facility continues to adapt to better serve its residents and the community.
Today was a special day for the village of Murnum. About 60 people gathered for an important event this morning. It was the official sod turning ceremony at the Eagle View Lodge. Health officials plan to upgrade the facility to accommodate the needs of the community. And today's sod turning could also mark a change to health care offered in small-town Alberta.
It's going to be a real asset for the county of Two Hills, the town of Murnum, and most important for our elderly people to have a facility like this. It's going to be one of its kind in the province.
One of a kind because it's a pilot project in Alberta. In the future, the lodge will house a health clinic and a new wing to care for people with Alzheimer's.
A lot has changed since 1997, but the lodge continues to provide modern service. The facility recently completed million-dollar upgrades and installed internet for the young folk who are now residents.
Bigger rooms to more accommodate the younger generations that's coming. Because prior when we had the pioneers, that were here. All they need is one little room.
The lodge also has an open-door policy allowing residents at all levels of care to socialize with each other.
They can walk from one end of the lodge to the other. If they want to eat in there, or they want activities like bingos or whatever activities they got, they can walk right through.
This is their home. This isn't some place that they have to come in and not be able to do what they were doing outside of here. So this is their home.
That's all for Retrospect. I'm Brian Lentz.
Well, Lloydminster City Council met for the third time this month discussing necessary expansions of the city's landfill and its bid for the Saskatchewan Summer Games. Our City Hall reporter Brian Lentz with more.
Thank you. The Lloydminster landfill is approaching its current capacity, but City Council is addressing that. They've awarded a $2.7 million tender to BTO Contracting Limited to build an extra cell and provide an additional 3 years of service at the landfill.
Something that's not done in 1 day, 1 week, or 1 month. It's going to take some expertise, and that's part of the cost that's associated with it. Plus, it's also not a small hole. We'll be able to, as administration advised, 3 years of waste will go into that before we even basically start the mounding process.
The city is also going ahead with its bid to host the 2020 Saskatchewan Summer Games.
We have a strong volunteer commitment. We have a strong corporate commitment from those that are also sponsor things. So I think we are in a position well. We've got several new hotels in the last few years. We've got camping sites. We can accommodate people on various budgets.
We'll have more information about these stories later on this week on Newcap News. And don't forget, if Lloydminster residents want to voice their concerns directly with the Mayor and City Council, they'll have a chance to do that during Coffee and Conversation Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. at the Legacy Centre. Reporting from City Hall, I'm Brian Lentz.
This is Newcap Sports.
It's an exciting time at Lakeland College with the women's volleyball team beginning the season as defending national champions. But after another year without playoffs, can the men's team rebound less a couple of veteran pieces? Lance Phillips and Josh Ryan from The Gloves Are Off have some answers and a bit of fun.
Thank you very much. Josh, Rustler's volleyball.
Yeah.
It's coming up.
It's coming up, and I am so excited for that season.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are excited. Let's first start on the men's side, because that season is right around the corner.
Yes.
They lost some key pieces. They got some key pieces back. Are they good enough to make the postseason in 2017, 2018?
I think so.
You think so?
I do. I think for the first time since 2009, we could see the men's Rustler team in the playoffs.
I don't think they're missing size.
They are missing size, but a couple of the key positions have been replaced. Bryson Keck was a big guy. Brady Cole is a bigger guy. And they're bigger at the center position than
you can be as big as you want, but if you can't fill the void of that player leaving, it doesn't help you at all.
I think Brady
Cole
can.
10 feet tall.
Brady Cole is not only tall, he's got great length, and he's pretty mature as a player anyway.
Isn't length and tall the same thing?
He's the length in arms is what I meant to say.
So he's like Spider-Man. He's like Spider-Man.
He is like Spider-Man, actually. Have you seen
arms?
You need to go watch him.
Listen, this team has a definite chance to get to the postseason.
Yes.
And there's one thing. It's Matt Peck. Matt Peck has to step in and fill that leadership role that the team didn't have last year. If he can do that, and I believe he can, they have a good shot. Let's talk women's, because the women's is compelling. They're national champions a year ago.
Yep.
Where are they going to be this year?
I think that they're going to compete for a national championship again.
How could you argue that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are some other good teams in the league. That's why you might argue it. There's some good teams out of the South. I do think they're going to make, at the very worst, they're going to be in the semifinals in the ACAC this year, and it's whether or not they can get through that semifinal match that will mean they can compete.
They really need Olivia to fill in and fill that role of the libero position
for Laura. Yeah.
For Laura Papasan. They really need her to fill that admirably, and I think she'll be fine. I think Laura taught her a lot while she was here for the year, and I think she's going to be fine. And there's some new additions that aren't bad additions.
No.
And they've got the core back. Basically, everybody has returned. It's a formidable team. They're going to start the year ranked number 1.
Yeah, and they not only that are these girls capable of stepping in right away, this will help rest the key players from last year. So this year, you won't see as many injuries, I think, because they'll have so many people on the floor for them.
And we already know about the coaching. Coaching's pretty outstanding.
Pretty good.
Coaching's pretty outstanding.
Yeah.